Africa is one of the richest continents on Earth. Its land holds gold, diamonds, oil, and rare minerals. Its soil can grow enough food to feed hundreds of millions. Its rivers, forests, and coastlines support vast ecosystems. Yet Africa is often described as poor. This contradiction raises an uncomfortable question. How did a continent so rich become so far behind? Why does Africa have so much, yet struggle so deeply? To answer this, we must go back in time. Not to colonial Africa, but to Africa before disruption. Africa did not begin behind the world. Africa once stood at the center of global trade. Its civilization shaped economies long before Europe rose to power. Long before European empires dominated the globe, Africa was thriving. Powerful kingdoms controlled land, people, and trade. Cities grew around markets, learning, and craftsmanship. Africa was not isolated, it was deeply connected to the world. Trade routes crossed deserts and seas. Merchants moved gold, salt, ivory, and textiles. Ideas traveled alongside goods. African societies developed systems of governance. Kings ruled alongside councils and elders. Wealth circulated within communities. This was not a primitive world, it was an organized one. The Mali Empire rose through control of gold. Gold was not rare in Mali, it was abundant, so abundant that Mali shaped global markets. When Mansa Musa traveled to Mecca, he gave away gold freely. So much gold entered circulation that its value dropped for years. This was recorded by historians, not imagined, not exaggerated. Mali's wealth funded education, cities, and administration. Timbuktu became a center of learning. Books were traded like currency. Africa was exporting knowledge, not importing it. After Mali declined, Songhai rose. It became one of the largest empires in African history. Songhai controlled trade routes across West Africa. Its army protected merchants and cities. Its government collected taxes and enforced laws. Education flourished. Judges ruled by written codes. Scholars debated law, science, and theology. Songhai was not chaotic, it was structured. Its collapse did not come from weakness alone. It came as global trade patterns shifted. Far to the south, another African civilization was rising. It did not build with mud or wood, it built with stone. Great Zimbabwe emerged between the 11th and 15th centuries. Its builders shaped granite blocks by hand. They stacked them without mortar, yet the walls still stand today. The great enclosure towered over the city. Its walls curved smoothly along the land. They were not random. They were planned. Inside these walls were passageways. Some were narrow and private. Others opened into wide ceremonial spaces. These were not defensive structures alone. They were political statements. Great Zimbabwe was a capital. It was a center of authority. Only elites lived within the highest stone walls. Ordinary people lived below, closer to farmland and water. Gold was everywhere, not in the streets, but in control. Nearby rivers and hills produced vast quantities of gold. This gold moved north and east. It reached the Swahili coast. From there, it crossed oceans. Arab traders arrived with cloth and glass beads. Indian merchants brought spices. Chinese porcelain found its way inland. All of this passed through Great Zimbabwe. This was not isolation. This was global integration. Great Zimbabwe was not just stone and trade. It was people. Farmers worked the land below the hills. They grew millet and sorghum. Cattle grazed in open fields. Cattle were wealth. They were status. Artisans shaped pottery. Others worked metal. Goldsmiths refined ornaments for elites and trade. Markets were active. Goods moved constantly. Food flowed into the city. Gold flowed outward. Religion shaped daily life. spiritual beliefs guided leadership. The king ruled politically and spiritually. The Zimbabwe birds stood as symbols, carved from soapstone, placed high on walls and pillars. They watched over the city. They represented ancestors. They represented legitimacy. They reminded people who ruled. This society was ordered. It was disciplined. It was stable for generations. African empires did not collapse suddenly. The cracks appeared slowly. Internal tensions grew. Rulers struggled to manage vast territories. Succession disputes weakened authority. Power became concentrated in elites. Common people carried heavier burdens, taxes increased, loyalty weakened. Some regions resisted central rule, others broke away entirely. Trade disagreements caused rivalry. Old alliances collapsed, new enemies emerged. What once felt stable became fragile. The foundations were still strong, but the balance was shifting. But no empire lasts forever. Trade routes began to shift. Coastal trade became more important than inland trade. Power moved away from cities like Great Zimbabwe. Environmental pressure increased. The land could not support endless expansion. Resources became strained. People began to move. The population slowly dispersed. The city was not destroyed overnight. It faded. The same pattern appeared elsewhere in Africa. Mali declined as gold routes shifted. Songhai fell after invasion and disruption. Trade networks fractured. This was not because Africa lacked intelligence. It was because the world was changing, and Africa was forced to change with it. Then came a rupture unlike any before. The transatlantic slave trade did not target land. It targeted people, strong men, skilled artisans, young women, future leaders. Entire villages disappeared. Communities were torn apart. Trust collapsed. African states diverted energy to survival. Defense replaced development. Fear replaced planning. Economies broke down. Labor vanished. Generations were lost. No society can recover quickly from that. This was not a temporary setback. It was a structural wound. When slavery declined, colonialism expanded. European powers divided Africa. Borders were drawn on maps. Cultures were ignored. Histories were erased. Colonial economies were simple. Extract resources, export them. Import finished goods. Railways led to ports. Not between African cities. Mines mattered more than schools. Education trained clerks, not builders. Industry was discouraged. Dependency was enforced. Africa was made to serve others. This system did not end with independence. It evolved. Today, Africa remains rich. Its minerals power modern technology. Its land feeds global markets. Its people drive culture worldwide. Yet control often lies elsewhere. Africa is not poor by nature. Africa is rich within unequal systems. To understand Africa today, we must stop asking the wrong question. Not why is Africa behind, but who benefited from Africa's disruption. History matters, because without it, lies survive. Africa's past proves its capacity. Its future depends on reclaiming control. History never disappears. It waits to be remembered.